Hello everyone, now you will hear a short summary of the film Phuong. Enjoy watching. Phuong works as a debt collector in a small Vietnamese town. If someone refuses to pay a debt, she uses brute force. True, sometimes you have to flee if, for example, the owner of a pig farm wanted to chop you into pieces. The fat creditor constantly mocks Phuong. But the woman has to endure it, because it will be difficult to find another job. She only knows how to fight. The locals wonder where she came from here. And with a small child at that. She's a people like her don't have husbands. Don't say that local children bully Phuong's daughter, calling her a bastard and a thief. The girl is embarrassed by her mother and the fact that she constantly beats people. They live in a hut in the middle of the river and dream of their own business, a fish farm. The landlady from Phuong is so her rice is burnt. But she didn't cook the pork all the way through, so she has to cook it herself. In the evening, a drunk man starts breaking into their house. He wants to avenge his brother whose legs Phuong broke. The man left empty-handed, but promised to come back and burn down their shack. The girl confessed that she is constantly beaten because she grows up without a father, and her mother is a debt collector. It would be better if she worked instead of going to school. Phuong keeps an old family photo and her mother's earrings. In Saigon, the woman was involved in banditry and kept order in a nightclub, but ran away to the village when she became pregnant with May. Phuong decided to pawn the earring to help her daughter set up a fish farm. Suddenly the girl called her for help. The women accuse us of stealing because she ended up with someone else's wallet in her hands. Where did you get it? I picked it up from the ground. How convenient for you, quote. Another woman ran up and said that it was her wallet. The crowd pounced on the girl. People demanded that she turn out her pockets. Suddenly the thief robbed someone else. May got upset and ran away because her mother believed them, not her. Then the real owner of the wallet appeared. The drunkard simply dropped it. So, did not steal anything. While Phuong was thinking about whether to pawn the earrings or not, her rein was grabbed by unknown people. Two kidnappers tried to detain the woman and, if possible, cut off a piece of her. They were helped by a couple more thugs. Phuong knocked out one of them with a durian. The woman ran to the river and saw how we threw into a motorboat. The mother rushed into the river and grabbed the boat, but the bandit hit her in the face with an oar and sailed away with the child. Phuong did not give up. She stole a motorcycle and rode along the river. Sorry, at some point, May got lost in the forest and drove through a street cafe. Then she ran into a bandit who managed to catch up with her. The man was waving until he crashed into a tree. But most importantly, he managed to detain Phuong, who also fell off her motorcycle. The woman ambushed him in the water, but she got hit in the jug. Then Phuong wrapped the scoundrel's neck in aquatic plants and strangled him. The homeless mother began asking locals if they had seen her daughter. Soon Phuong noticed a boat abandoned on the shore, and then a minibus in which the kidnappers took May. Locals said that this bus went to Saigon. Phuong tried to stop the nearest ride and ultimately climbed into a truck without permission. So persistent and strong. Okay, let it be. In the evening, Phuong arrived in Saigon. The woman immediately went to the club where she once did her business. The former underling became the boss and refused to help Phuong. Then the woman went to the police station, but immediately realized that they would not help her. Quickly slow down, you can't make mistakes in the details. Otherwise we'll find the wrong one. Phuong asked this slowpoke to give her a painkiller. And when she was alone, she began to rummage around the office. Recently he has been kidnapping a huge number of children. He puts them under the knife to get their organs. After rummaging through the documents, she found a dossier on the suspected bandits and fled the station with the papers. Captain Long is handling this case, and he did not have time to catch another mother looking for a child. Phuong began to wander around the city area in search of the right address. The old woman refused to let the uninvited guest in. Allegedly her son, Track, has not lived here for a long time. The guy grabbed a screwdriver and said he knew nothing. He left the game truck. Go away, Mom. Truck decided to beat the woman with a hammer in front of his mother, but Phuong began to fight back. Soon she had the hammer, but Truck began to strangle the woman with an iron bat. Phuong was able to free herself. The brutal fight continued. Moreover, Phuong gets no less than her opponent. An old woman helped her son and hit Phuong on the back with a bat. In the end, the woman stuck an iron part into Truck's neck and threatened to finish him off if the criminal did not tell where her daughter was. The guy gave in and said that Phuong only had a few hours. Mobile operating rooms were set up in Trucks. She needed to find a store with a 5-liter canister hanging outside. Phuong found it and knocked out the seller. Moving further along the narrow alleys, Phuong knocks out the bandits one by one. Where are you going? In one of the rooms, Phuong found children's things, a bloody sheet, and surgical instruments. A terrible operation had recently been performed here. Among the things was her daughter's sandal. All this is being managed by the Vol bandit Tang Kai. Her bodyguards attacked Phuong with axes. In the next room, children are sleeping among them. Finally, Phuong dealt with their attackers and demanded that the boss release her daughter. But Tang Kai decided to personally deal with the dissatisfied mother. Why did she decide to interfere with her successful business? Having knocked out Phuong, the bandit called her accomplice and gave the number of the train that would transport the children. Phuong was thrown into the river. She remembered how her father had taught her martial arts since childhood and woke up. Phuong's hands were chained. She tried to float up, but she couldn't. Dying, she saw her little daughter. But suddenly Phuong swung in hospital. How long have I been here? A couple of months. No, a couple of hours. She was saved by Captain Long, who was on the trail of a mysterious woman. He remembers how Phuong set fire to a nightclub 10 years ago. And now they are demanding that the police be left to deal with it. They found no children or bandits in that building. But Phuong knows that these slowpokes cannot be relied upon. If she does nothing, her child will simply be disemboweled. After hearing Phuong's story, the nurse agreed to help her. She watches a lot of TV shows and offered the woman to become her hostage. Why are there so many cops? Stop, this is not how I imagined it. I went back. No, stop. Go back, help. Tell my sons I love them very much. Quote, the nurse took the patient away from the hospital and wished her luck. Phuong had no choice but to turn to her brother for help. Everyone respected their family, but Phuong had gotten involved with a bandit, and her father never forgave her. The embittered brother is not going to help either. Mai was kidnapped because of you. People like you must die. Phuong admitted that she was wrong and should not have gotten involved with the punks. But when Mai appeared, she changed. If necessary, she will destroy the gang single-handedly for her daughter. On the street, Phuong burst into tears. And her brother lit stinking sticks next to a plate of bananas. Long found the woman and told her that the Tan Soi gang sells children not only in Vietnam but also to neighboring countries. But the police do not have enough evidence to put them away. Not a couple of coolers with organs or a couple of kidnappings. This is not enough. Only Phuong knows the number of the train. With the kidnapped children, together with the investigator, they arrived at the train station. Phuong found the right train. Then Long forbade her to act on her own, but the woman refused to wait for reinforcements. Moreover, the train had already started moving. Phuong jumped inside and started searching the cars. Pablo the bandit and his partner attacked the woman. Fortunately, Long did not leave her alone and also jumped into the train. He helped deal with the first group of criminals and handcuffed them. The only way to get to the next car is through the roof. Phuong bathed and attracted the attention of the bandits. The 6 were sent to check what was going on there. After a short skirmish, the woman flew inside the car. There, an old acquaintance began to beat her. The woman broke free and began to beat the criminals. Long replaced her again so that Phuong could continue the search. A kilometer later, the bandits were going to unhook the cars with children and hand them over to surgeons for operations. Phuong prevented this and met again with a dance. But the cars were still unhooked, and they went in the other direction. Because of this, Long will no longer be able to help Phuong. but for now she herself is doing well. True only for now. Tang Ku quickly came to her senses and knocked her opponent down. Phuong remembered her father's instructions and got back on her feet. They had kidnapped the wrong child after all. The third round was going pretty smoothly, so Tang Kui decided to use a knife. This decision worked against her. Phuong cut her opponent from head to toe and finally stabbed her in the neck. The woman had finally found her daughter. I didn't steal the wallet. Do you believe me? I believe you. Long called for reinforcements. They still had to save the children who were being held in the detached carriages, but for now this task fell on Phuong's shoulders. She locked her daughter in the cage again and pounced on the last group of bandits. These criminals were armed with firearms, but they didn't help them. On the contrary, Phuong shot them all except for one. The bald thug shot the woman and was about to finish her off. But Long had already arrived and eliminated the bandit. The cops pulled all the children out of the train cars, and Mei leaned over her mother. The news reported that 20 children were rescued that day, and 12 criminals were arrested. And all this is thanks to Phuong, whose child was also kidnapped. Now, all the village children respect Mai because from now on, her mother is not a debt collector, but a real heroine. Phuong promised her daughter that she will teach her martial arts.
And never give up.
Boo.
Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.